you
Right.
know? I know from you that you work as a coach. You also have a lot of psychology background. What is your experience in terms of how can you make people realize what really makes the heart sing? I mean, you also do mastermind groups and stuff, but what is your approach there?
Yeah. So I have experience in one-on-one coaching as well as small group coaching. And it's, I had never heard these stats that you just said about people feeling engaged at work, but it makes a lot of sense. And I think that what people really want in their work life, many people, what they really are looking for is that sense of engagement or full or fuller engagement. And it comes through things like your tendencies and inclinations, your strengths, your talents. It's sort of a mix of things that kind of create the perfect dish, mix of ingredients that create the perfect dish for you.
Yes.
And it takes some work, it takes some practice, it takes some trying some different things out. But when you hit on it and you realize, wow, this is me, this is what I like doing, then work becomes so much more fulfilling day to day, hour to hour. And it's not perfect. I don't expect 100% of that feeling, but if you want to talk about metrics, maybe you can go for, say, 80%. Good enough. And so, yes, I have a psychology background, and I've studied things like organizational psychology and positive psychology and developmental psychology and a variety of different things that come into play. And what I think is that when you have a group, let's talk about sort of just groups first. When you have a group, you've got so many different perspectives that people can sort of reflect back to you. And some of it is not going to connect with you, and that's fine. It's great. But some of it is going to be like, wow, it's really interesting that person said that. I don't have any other environment where people can talk to me like that.
Yes.
They don't talk to me like that at work. My boss doesn't talk to me like that. My employee doesn't talk to me like that. My friends talk to me sometimes sort of like that, but it's different.
Yes.
So to have this sort of special environment that's structured and designed as a system to promote this kind of real talk, new perspectives, feedback in a way that you don't have in the rest of your life, personal or professional, can be really helpful in you discovering what path you want to go on. And then, see, I like the warm and cozy and fluffy stuff. I like that personal stuff, that emotional stuff. But you also have to have the real action and the real results and the real impact in your life and your world.
Yes. No, absolutely. What really made me, some people think, okay, why would it work? Because I've done it in a different format offline, and it was really an interesting experience. There was a company that wanted to qualify all their managers to become better coaches. Let's say the manager as a coach, yeah? Rather than just directing, they wanted them to ask open-ended questions, etc., etc. It was a large European rollout in Europe, Middle East, Africa, even Russia. 2,500 managers. And the way it was done, it was with a trainer with a group of coaches. I was one of the head figures there. And we taught them in a 2-day workshop, physically in a hotel room, how to do grow coaching with each other, which is goal, reality, option, and way forward. And they all thought, oh, we can do that already. We can coach. What they actually do is telling in a questioning style. That's not grow coaching. Grow coaching means that you ask open-ended question and the magic, the ideas come from the other person. So what I wanted to say is we did a 2-day workshop with video feedback, filming them, and then say, okay, well, how was the coaching? Great. Well, let's have a look. What did you do there? Oh, suggestive question. What did you do there? Oh, interrupt, give ideas. Oh, eye-opening. But then every 4 weeks, we split a group of 12 into 2 groups of 6. We did action learning. 4 hours, 6 people meet in the company and discuss their real business issues, and they coach each other. And I did this over 2 years in a European rollout with 2,500 managers. And what I learned is really the power of peer coaching, the power of real business issues, this action learning set. And that is what we want to do here. But rather than saying, okay, let's tackle business issues, because we are now in a private environment, as you say, it's different colleagues sorting out business issues in an action learning setting, rather than peers helping each other to find the resonating work that really fulfills me. A lot of people have given up looking for it. A lot of people never thought that it's even there. And here, this is what we dig towards. So it's basically a common project over 4 weeks. And let's see how fast or slow each moves. It's not a race, but it's really, if money would be no issue and you could really choose your dream activity, what would you like to do at work? And if the work is as such, make it that way. If not, look somewhere else. So this is really like getting people on target, but in this peer coaching style. So it's very interesting. And rather than having the cameras, it's the eyes of the people. You know, what you say there is not really congruent. When I ask you this question, I can see you are nervous. So the feedback rounds, the intense feedback rounds, bring out the reality that people could not figure out on their own. I really feel this is a big plus. When you say it's getting more and more into the virtual groups, you know, what is your experience with how close can you get in a Zoom session versus being in a hotel room or in a seminar room? People feel, well, it can't replace the face-to-face physical contact. Maybe we have some different experience, you know, in those 4 people, 5 hours or 3 hours. What have you experienced? How close can it get?
I think, it can get very close. It can get very intimate. It's maybe even more so. I mean, it's a different experience just in that you're sitting and looking at a computer or your laptop or something. But, you know, you might be in a very comfortable, intimate environment yourself. You could be at home. You could be sitting on your couch. You could be, you know, wearing your slippers and you're very comfortable and you're just open and relaxed and able to talk. So, I mean, I think really you don't lose any closeness or intimacy when you can see people's faces and hear their voices. And, you know, you see people in their natural environment. Like, this is you at work. Or this is you at home. And now I know something more about you, and there's that kind of connection too. So I don't think you lose anything. I think Zoom or other kinds of video conferencing technologies and software, they're great.
Yes, I really feel it's a big shift, and people underestimate it. If you haven't done a Zoom session or whatever the platform is you're using, you don't know. It's really this. Rather than, they call it the social armor. Let's say there is a corporate meeting in the company and, okay, who is sitting where? Where's the beamer? And seen and be seen. It's still a bit formal, yeah? Here, first of all, we are not all from the same company. And even if we would be, they're all at home or where they choose to be in a hotel lobby, that's up to them. And they don't feel so much under the radar screen of being corporate behavior appropriate. They let their hair down, whatever you want to call it. They just become more human, and that's a good energy if you really want to dig deep. You know, why are you sad at work, or why are you still doing it? Well, it's a tough question, and if you can answer it in a confidential environment to some peers, you might dig deeper than having this at the coffee machine in the corridor in the company. It's different. So I'm really excited about this, and the technology now enables us to do this. In the pilot groups, we had people from India, we had people from America, from all different times in Australia, for 3 hours, for 6 hours in Zoom, and stable connections. I mean, fantastic. Yeah, so that wasn't possible a year ago, I think. So it's really good. It's really good.
I think this is really going to take off. There's going to be more and more of these kinds of things. Because it works. And it's, you know, as long as you have at least a cell phone or something, you know, you can connect to the call.
Yes.
So I think this is a good direction.
The other question sometimes I have, you know, people like us, at least let's put it upscaling, you know, how many people can we reach? That some people feel, okay, I do open seminars, and then they fill the room and bumps on seat or whatever they call it, and they talk from the front. Well, that is good for you being in the limelight, but how much gets the individual really out of it? Yeah. And then you have corporate workshops, 15 people, and you work in intervals over 18 months. They take something out, but how much is actually implemented? In a corporate environment, it's not very typical that I have people that I can work with Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, you know, 4 weeks in a row. It doesn't rarely happen. So that brings me to this, how much would be the coaches present? That's very important to me. I don't want just peer groups on their own. a coach would be present in those sessions. But what is, maybe I ask you because you are a coach, what is your definition of coach? Because people out there, the mass market, they have a kind of idea what a coach is, and it's sometimes not what we feel a coach is. So what is a coach to you? If you define you as a coach, what is your role as a coach? How do you act as a coach?
That's a great question. I mean, a coach has no official definition, so anyone can use it to mean anything.
Which is good in a way.
Yeah. So, and the way that I feel coaching works is, as you said, I have a background from psychology, and there is increasing attention put on this thing called performance psychology now. And what that is it's a lot about helping you kind of get the best out of your life and have the most satisfying, fulfilling life, and play at your peak as much as possible. And so there are all kinds of mechanisms, or what I call technologies, and this is just totally my own language. As I said, everyone defines it. There are sort of technologies. It's not hardware. It's coaching methodology that helps people to develop and bring out their best, perform at their peak, find what's authentic for them, do what they most desire in a productive, positive way that gives them a sense of contribution, gives them a sense of achievement, gives them a sense of balance, whatever that means to them. And that's really, to me, what coaching is. It's a increasingly sophisticated approach between people, methodologies between people that uses these sort of psychological frameworks and techniques to help people find that kind of satisfaction, enrichment, and achievement. And that's the big picture, and the details of it can get kind of complicated. That's what I would say to start.
Yes, very good. So you can see there, on one hand, it's enabling, supporting, but it's not taking over. And this is what some people, because of sports, the baseball coach, the basketball coach, whatever it is, won the trophies, done how it's done, knows how it's done, and tells the players what to do. That's the coach. Now, that's not what we mean. The reason I bring that up, there is certainly programs where you just have peers. Why would I want coaches present in these sessions? They're not there to facilitate or take the lead. They can if nothing works, yeah? But ideally they observe. And then there's certain periods, let's say after an hour there's a break. And then there's a reflection in the group, 5 people plus the coach. What worked well? What was productive? What was counterproductive? Did people really have time enough to go inside, or was it just brushed over? So the coach makes sure that it really is intense enough to bring them to a space where they wouldn't have arrived without that coach. Yeah. So it's really like in between. It's facilitating improvement or change, and sometimes intervention, sometimes feedback loops, and apart from that, just stepping back and letting the group flow. That's something that I would like to have. So really presence of the coaches. And then once the session is over, there's one-to-one comments from the coaches to the work of the individuals, of the students, and also one-to-one stretching them. I saw you in the session, you went to that point. From my observation, there is still 2 questions that you haven't asked yourself. What about this one? What about this one? And then the guy thinks, he's right or she's right. And then, so throwing more reflection, ammunition in between the sessions, that's also something I would like the coaches to do.
Click on the link to fill out the application. It's your chance to get on the waiting list and possibly accepted. There is no commitment at this stage. It's a selection process of carefully matched peer groups. Don't forget to subscribe to our email circle. The application has great questions, like a free mini coaching session how to discover your talents to become fully engaged and remarkable. Once accepted, you have 48 hours to commit or step aside from the waiting list.